Hello again, everyone. That's Randy, Sewing Machine Man, and today we're looking at a Kenmore 10 stitch, a little steel geared alloy frame machine. That's a real nice one. But what we're going to do with this one, I'm going to visit with you about this bobbin winder deal. I found the other day, I was talking to a lady, and she was talking about winding her bobbin. It was making this racket. I'm like, what the heck is she talking about? Something like that. So, well, your bobbin winder wheel just has a flat spot on it, and then I use the word I hate, just. Just is the word that doesn't minimize anything you say after just. Whatever's after the word just is still there. So I said, just replace your bobbin winder ring. See, to me, I've done it 1,000 times. It's no big deal. But she's never done it ever, so she's like, what are you talking about? I said, I'll make you a video how to replace a bobbin winder wheel. And on this model, take these screws off, 1, 2. 1, 2, and this lifts right up. And you got to make sure that these screws, sometimes they have these little plastic tabs on there. That keeps the screws from falling out. If you don't see those plastic tabs, be careful. Pull those screws out, set them aside, and notice that one may be longer than the other one. The one on the right here is the long one. This one's the short one, and that makes a difference. Okay, so if you want to replace the bobbin winder ring into there, first you got to have a bobbin winder ring. Of course, you can get these everywhere. Where? Online. They just, one size kind of fits all. There are some different versions for some old whites and some Berninas and things, but for the garden variety Kenmores, you get a bag of these and you got it set. I order these 100 at a time because they always get replaced. This one has a flat spot on it. I don't know if you can see it. Bring it around here, see if the camera can pick up that flat spot that was making it knockety knock knock. Ooh, right there, is that it? Yeah, there's the flat spot right there. Because that's where it sat and spun without spinning. The hand wheel spun against that and just put a flat spot on it. It's just a matter of checking to make sure that's the deal and just peel it off. These are your adjustment screws for the bobbin winder attachment itself. You don't need to take that off. You can do it with that on there. Just peel this off. You just grab it. You may need a pair of pliers if your hands don't have a lot of strength in it, because we all have different varying strengths in our hands. And there's the old one. That's the original. If I can find, oh yeah, there it is, a big old flat spot. See, not, if it sits on there, sometimes it won't go, and sometimes it'll make that knockety knock. So you want to get rid of that. And you get a new one, and this is lively. This is real flexible rubber and round. And to put it back on, just reverse the process, catch it under here, and then I push it up, and it hops back on there. Just as simple as you can imagine. Of course, I'm doing it through the camera instead of doing it live, so it looks but then that's how she goes. Now, if this thing was not oiled, that thing sat there and it was frozen, and that's why it was spinning in one spot. So you look down in there and you find out where this chrome part spins, and it stops spinning where it goes into the axle shaft there. And where it stops spinning, that's where you want to put a drop. Get your extended spot oiler and put a drop at the base of this where it stops spinning. Where it's spinning, you're doing no good. Where it stops spinning, that's where it enters the axle housing. So you put a drop there, and then always make sure it spins. Make sure it spins. If it doesn't spin, coerce it, coax it, encourage it. Make sure it spins. Sometimes it's hard to turn. You'll oil it, turn it, oil it, turn it. Sometimes you have to wipe the oil off. But once you get it spinning, then you put it back on, reverse the process. You have the screw on this side, the screw on that side. You screw those down, disengage your hand wheel, engage it. See if she spins. Let's see. Oh yeah, spinning like crazy, or should be. And sometimes you have to adjust this little guy in here. You adjust this so it engages all the way. If it doesn't engage all the way, it'll keep wanting to pop back like you saw it doing there. So you loosen this screw and that screw. They shouldn't be too tight because I had them loose earlier. You can loosen this one sometimes and it'll rotate. You want to bring it back away from it so it'll snap all the way through. If it doesn't snap all the way through, it won't engage. So sometimes you bring it all the way back and you tighten her down and you try it. Put it on. Now, sometimes you can Tighten your screws down. Sometimes you don't need to fool with putting your screws down. You can just move this around, make sure your screw holes are lined up. And you snap it over and it'll take off and wind. Let's get this lined up properly. Yeah, I always say just because it's a piece of cake. You gotta get that screw up and out of the way so it'll sit in the right spot. There you go, right there. You snap it over. And now she's winding. It's nice and quiet. You tighten down your screw on the right, tighten down your screw on the left. And this, of course, adjusts so it'll push off. You loosen that, rotate it over, back and forth to decide whether or not you want to have a full bobbin. See, that's set for a full bobbin. And it's an eccentric. You loosen that and then rotate it around. You see, that gets a little closer, closes that gap. And that's how you adjust how much is filled onto the bobbin. Most folks keep it out of the way and just keep an eye on it. When it gets like 3/4 full or almost full, you just stop winding and you're good to go. So that's how you wind the bobbin. Not how you wind it, but how you replace the bobbin winder wheel from this original one that's seen a better day to a nice, lively new one. And this Kenmore is the 158-12520. But there's going to be a whole lot of them that have that same similar setup. A lot of these Kenmore 158s have that same exact operation on top. So I hope that helps you out. Helps you replace the bobbin winder ring. So if you're not in my service area and you're off somewhere in Nova Scotia or Spain, same machine, same bobbin winder ring, same screwdrivers, just go to it and have a good day. All right, Kenmore 10, replace the bobbin winder ring. All righty, thanks.